So there's a lot of Dallas Cowboy players that are complaining about the coaching staff talking about how the coaching staff is not qualified, they're not prepared, they don't strategize, they don't react and strategize, particularly with other teams, and they're unqualified to be coaching. All right. Now, these players have been talking among other media members. They don't want to put their names in front of this. And to me, when you read stuff like this, and a coach, a GM, or even a player orchestrate something like this, but they don't want to put their name in front of it, then that just tells you that you need to take this with a grain of salt, okay? So I would go full into the article, but I have a question. Okay, so is this the same coaching staff that was coaching the team last year and the year before? Is this the same coaching staff that, we won games, but the games that we needed to win the most, we fall flat on our face? Like, I remember last year, okay? The Dallas Cowboys were playing the Buffalo Bills, okay? It was in the middle of the season. This was a must-win game, okay? And I remember that day very well because I had food poison. Or I thought I had food poison, okay? The doctor said I had food poison, but I started, I really got sick after watching the Dallas Cowboys lose to the Buffalo Bills. That's why, I feel like I got sick, okay? Because I could not stomach the performance that my Dallas Cowboys presented on that field playing against the Buffalo Bills. This was make it or break it for Jason Garrett last year. If Jason Garrett would have took that team to the postseason or even advance further into the postseason, possibly going to the Super Bowl, this would have saved Jason Garrett's career. Okay? This could have saved his career. But these same players that are talking loud now are the exact same players that played last year and the year before. Now, I did a live stream yesterday, and I told you guys, look, we don't have a good team, okay? Our offensive line is aging, okay? We're losing key stars on our defensive side because Jason Garrett, as well as Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones decided among themselves to put the cart in front of the horse when it comes to their signing. Okay? They put the cart in front of the horse. They signed Ezekiel Elliott because Ezekiel Elliott threatened to hold out. All right? So they was in a rush to sign Ezekiel Elliott. Okay? We got the foundation going when it comes to the offensive line, but that was like 3 or 4 years ago. Okay? The offensive line that we signed and it was solid 3 or 4 years ago is not the same offensive line of today. Okay, not mentioning the fact that most of our linemen are injured. Okay, so you couldn't even replenish it. Okay, but in their prime, all right, we were still searching for, is Dak Prescott the one? Okay, we were still putting the cart in front of the horse as far as signing Ezekiel Elliott first, instead of let's go ahead and take care of that Prescott now. All right. What do we have at our disposal? What is available in free agency? Is anything available in free agency better than Dak Prescott? Now, last offseason, we had the ability, if you was not sure about Dak Prescott, then you should have just went forward and found his replacement. Okay. We could have gotten Tom Brady. All right. We could have traded for Aaron Rodgers. All right. We didn't do those moves. So it makes no sense to wait until the 9th hour to finally realize you have your quarterback. All right. We put the cart in front of the horse over and over again. And while we're doing that, the offensive line is getting older. All right. We're losing star players on the defensive side of things that are on other teams and are flourishing very well. Meanwhile, we're always replenishing the defense with what limited picks that we have. We did dabble into free agency and got some defensive players. Okay, we signed one player that's been out of football for like 3 or 4 years. I can't think of his name as right now, but you guys know who I'm talking about. All right, that was the biggest key addition to our defense. All right, for our line. We signed somebody that haven't been in football for like 2 to 3 years. All right. He was a star 3 or 4 years ago. Not so much. Okay, now. So, this is the same team that couldn't save Jason Garrett's bacon. And ultimately, he lost his job. Okay, this same ball club. All right. And I've been saying this over and over and over. I don't understand why people cannot put 2 and 2 together. It's simple. We need to start all over. It's a wrap. You can't just continue to continue to fire offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, head coach. Talking about always the owner is meddling. We should fire the owner, Jerry Jones. Even if Jerry Jones was suspended, let's just say hypothetically Jerry Jones was suspended. He can't go. He can't be around the Dallas Cowboys organization. Okay, still all of these decisions, all of this activity, all the players will still coexist, and they will still be where they are today. Okay? We got to stop blaming Jerry Jones, Stephen Jones. We got to stop blaming the coaching staff, the coordinators. When are we going to hold these players to accountability? These players are not great players. It's time, and I said this in my live stream. I don't know if anybody listened to it, but I think it's time for the Dallas Cowboys to tap out. Just tap out. Start all over again. Start anew. Okay, start all over again. Rebuild it. If you want to rebuild it with Dak Prescott, there's several ways you can rebuild this. All right, there's not no one ultimate way to rebuild. All right, like I said in the live stream yesterday, Russell Wilson was with the Seattle Seahawks, and they had the Legion of Boom. All right. And the organization, the Seattle Seahawks organization, was at a crossroad. Are we just going to keep adding pieces to the Legion of Boom? Or are we just going to focus all our time, attention, and resources on Russell Wilson? Okay. You can't please both. Not in this NFL environment with the hard salary cap. You have to pick one or the other. All right. They picked Russell Wilson, slowly but surely. They got rid of the Legion of Boom. All right. And now the Seattle Seahawks are flourishing. They're always in talks when it comes to postseason. They're always very successful in the regular season. And they haven't changed not one head coach. They just stay consistent. And that's what the Dallas Cowboys need to do. You need to take a page from the Seattle Seahawks, or just do like the New York Jets. Just let everything go. Have a fire sale. Everything must go. All right? And just start all over. Stop putting the cart in front of the horse. Stop signing players that, if you're not talking about and like I said in the live stream, here's the things Jerry Jones need to work on. Your offensive line, your quarterback, and your defense. Everything else, every other position is not a must. If you have a player holding out and they're not on the defense, they're not on the offensive line, they're not the quarterback, then just let them hold out. You have a plan. You stick to your plan. You don't stop putting the cart in front of the horse. That's what's wrong with the Dallas Cowboys. When you look at their roster, you look at all the pieces. They're putting the cart in front of the horse, and that's why we're never going to have a successful team. I don't care how many coaches we get rid of. I don't care how many offensive and defensive coordinators we get rid of. Special team coordinators. I don't care. We're still going to be always at this crossroad where, now this is last year, not this year, but last year, we was always in this clutch. We were too good. I mean, we wasn't good enough to advance in the postseason and possibly the Super Bowl. But we was too good to suck so bad to where we can get in the draft and get a high draft pick. We was always middle ground. And that's the problem with the Dallas Cowboys. We need to prioritize what's really important if you want to have a successful season. You can't take care of everybody. Everybody's not going to be happy. You're going to have people threatening to hold out. You're going to have people demanding trades. That's fine. If it's not if that person is not on the offensive line, if that person's not a quarterback, and if that person's not on defense, I'm not saying that you got to have the Steelers defense of old. But you got to have a defense that's willing, that's able to attempt to stop the opponent. And our defense has not demonstrated that thus far. It went from bad to worse. Last year was bad. Even though we was winning, but we didn't really win the games that mattered the most. Last year was pretty bad. This is god awful. So that's all I got to say. Look, I don't believe in these reports, and I get so sick of it's the coward way of doing things. Let's just fire the coach. How long people are going to use that? How long when people start really focusing within what's really wrong with the Dallas Cowboys, and what's really wrong with the Dallas Cowboys is what they have on their roster. They've been inconsistent on their signings, and they're putting the cart in front of the horse, and that's why we got what we got now. It's time to wake up, folks. You can't just keep continuing to just keep firing coaches. Let's just fire coaches. You know, Keyshawn Johnson was talking this morning, talking about they should fire Mike McCarthy. They should just eat the contract and just let him walk, let him go. Okay, this coming from the same guy, by the way. Let me get on Keyshawn Johnson here for a second, okay? This is the same guy that was so much of a diva for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They just told him to just leave the premise and just take your money, and we're willing to let you sit at home and we're good. Just continue to count your millions and we're good. He was Antonio Brown before there was even an Antonio Brown. Okay? This is the same Keyshawn Johnson. And he's throwing out this type of nonsense of let's just get rid of the coach. Like all of a sudden that's the number one topic. That's the number one reason why the Dallas Cowboys are struggling. It's the coaching staff. That was the same problem last year. That was the same problem the year before. That was the same problem. I mean, how long are y'all going to keep firing coaches? Well, are we just going to just fire coaches? Like every 3 quarters, we're just going to fire a coach? Is that the strategy, the key to success? Look, I'm going to make this video way too long. It's just weird to me about the Dallas. You know what? I'm done. Okay, I'll talk to you guys later. It's your boy. I'm up out of here.